Hello, I'm here to talk about armor stacking. And why would you want to armor stack? Armor stack solves damage for you, defense, and recovery. You get to quadratically scale damage all the while getting defense at the same time. Currently on this character, I have 1.4 million armor. This 1.4 million armor is providing 29k pool, 500% damage through the amulet, and 2.7k percent damage through the gloves. And here I have a clip of how tanky the build is. Here I'm tanking 2 of the collision explosions on SS20 of this season. One of them hits me for 27%. Typically builds can't tank even a single one. So very big, very big. Who should you armor stack on? Armor stacking is locked to attack builds because of the gloves. You only get boost damage to attacks, not spells. I think Erika makes a lot of sense, and Raihan too doesn't make sense. Why is that? In a world where armor stacking is not, or was not a thing, Erika was a thriving class, while Raihan 2 ladder was a complete graveyard outside of a couple life stacking builds. So I think it just makes more sense to slap the armor stacking shell on the better class, better build, for the better whole. Now the core actual like 3 pieces you need for armor stacking is the gloves, clenched spring, forlorn crystal, the amulet, and the unwavering fortress, which is a prism. We have it here. It says you get 2% of your armor as HP, and you can't have any life or ES. Now, the other core pieces I think you should always have on the build, or get as you transition, or whatever you do. The inverse image and the mountain god. Inverse image on the brave talent tree is huge value. You get a ton of percent armor and flat armor here. I think this is mandatory. And mountain god. Normally barrier absorbs 50% of the damage you take, and just generating barrier, you get 20% of your max life and max ES. But of course, as an armor stacker, we don't have life or ES, so we need another way of getting barrier, because this isn't gonna get us a reasonable amount. So there is the dual kismet mountain god, which says 2% armor to barrier shield, which is the same amount of HP we have. So basically our entire HP is covered by barrier. So what this results is this dual kismet basically says double our HP. This is insane value that basically no armor stacker is running currently, and these things are at the recycle price, like 50 to 100 FE. So you should get this. How much armor to get DR damage reduction? So right now the build has 80% of physical and non-physical, but if we start taking some pieces off, once we go below 300k, the non-physical damage mitigation drops below 80%. So that's the value there. If we take some more pieces off, we are still at capped physical, but non-physical goes further down. And in the armor effective rate, This is very important. We currently get it on the 4-1 crystal, but you need to have this somewhere. If we don't have it, even at 1.2 million armor, the non-physical damage mitigation does not reach 80%. And you really want 80%. So you have it on the amulet or somewhere. And then you might ask, how good are the slate lines on this build? What should you get? There is this line where it says 40% defense from shield. There is also a 40% defense from body armor. For this, I have an Excel sheet. Here I have the calcs for armor my character has. I have it down to a 0.03% accuracy. So that's pretty good. But here is the actual comparison. Here I have the before and after. Here the only number I change is the shield multi, going up from 3 to 3.4, so 40% defense from shield. And the comparison here results in 9.8% damage and 5.2% in pool. So that is basically a 15% slate line, so that is pretty powerful even when you have a lot of it. In an ideal scenario where you have none of it, it's even more powerful. In that case, you're looking at 13% damage, 7.5% of HP pool, for a total of 21.7% power on the line. And then there is the entry cost. So armor stacking I want to talk about. Everyone says armor stacking is super expensive, but at Lake Start, I paid these prices for the items: 100 fee for the gloves, 8 for the unwavering fortress, and 1.5k for the amulet. But I think you can start the build even without the amulet. And here I have some calcs for about the 2 gear plus 400 FE in the major pieces. The gloves you should get for about 100 FE, the inverse image for maybe 200, and the precise for another 100 FE. And all this gets us to 260k armor in this budget scenario. And that would translate to 5k pool. But when on that pool you take the armor and barrier damage reduction into account, that bumps up to 50k. So in a early profound or pre-profound environment where everyone is running around in 5k HP, dying to everything, you have 10x the HP. That is pretty massive. And in that scenario, you get 750 damage from the gloves. When you compare that to a weapon with a T1 flat roll, you're looking at about 3 times the damage you get from the gloves. Of course, if you do get the gloves, you probably don't want the flat on the weapon, but yeah. So the last issue with going armor stacking before getting the 4-1 crystal, the armor stacking neck, is armor effective rate, because like I said, it's really bad if you don't have any armor effective rate. You just don't get to 80%, but what you can do is go to the brave tree, and instead of the additional armor here, you can click ember armor for some effective rate. And that solves your non-physical damage mitigation, even if you don't have it on gear. So in conclusion, I think you can start armor stacking at a super early point, and it's not at all expensive. Even if you think 1.5k is expensive, then I don't know, PoE ideas are spreading to Torchlight too much. I think armor stacking is not expensive in Torchlight. It's cheap. Do it.